All right, so this is episode 1, the Awaken Fire podcast. Welcome, everybody.
Woo!
My name is Danny Shipley.
And I'm Bethany Werner, used to be Shipley.
And this is episode 1. Woohoo!
Yay!
We just had to clap. All right, so what are we doing today?
So today we're going to kind of just talk about why we want to do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of give a little background on us, too. So why is Awaken Fire important to you?
I just really wanted to start up a podcast and I've made so many connections throughout my travels, kind of just doing music and just meeting people at different churches and different businesses. And I think that I would love to kind of create a voice for that. And not that there isn't already voices, but just kind of bring it all into one place. And I just wanted to interview people and learn about their businesses and about their arts and just learn and dream together. And I guess kind of keeping it local to Cleveland at first, and then hopefully it'll go other places. I would love to meet other people and just kind of interview people and just kind of keep it one place and positive and dream together and live together.
Yeah, you're more Cleveland, Ohio than I am, but for location.
Oh wow, we're Medina today. Yeah.
We're Cleveland for sure.
Well, if you're in Ohio, you're from Cleveland, naturally.
Right, you're either like Cleveland, Columbus, or Cincinnati.
Right.
Pretty much. We're at the top by Lake Erie. So Awaken Fire is kind of, you're on Facebook.
Yep.
We're on Facebook.
We are on Facebook. Go give us a like, because you probably heard this from Facebook or YouTube. So subscribe if you're on YouTube, and give us a like if you're on Facebook. Yep.
Always subscribe.
Yeah.
I subscribe my favorite things. We kind of covered what we were going to talk about. So I had this idea of kind of a way we could interview each other. So we both grew up in ministry, and then as we've gotten older, we've both been able to spend time and do ministry with other people, not just our family.
Yeah. Which
is, I think, really unique. We've talked a lot about that like, our experience is really unique. And so I had this idea, this question popped up into my mind. It was like, what is a moment from your childhood, like the earliest memory of doing ministry, and how did that affect you then, and does it still affect you now?
Mm-hmm. I think in my mind I really kind of split this all up, and there's different moments of awakening. I really just in my spirit, and just kind of learning new things, because life's about a journey and learning things along the way. I've done different ministry schools, and I feel like I don't think that I've taken any of them for granted, and I loved my experiences with them, and certain times I didn't even want to leave, because it was just so good what different ministries had. So I think that there's different moments awakening for me. Me personally, I think I guess you could say recently in my teens, because I'm 28 now, recently in my teens, a big thing was between, did I want to play secular music or did I want to do worship music? And then I feel like when I went to Morningstar when I was about 17, 18, I went there and they literally threw that whole rule book out the window, that whole idea out the window, saying, you're just making music. And you're going to...
It wasn't black and white anymore.
Yeah, so it wasn't black and white anymore. And there's certain kinds of songs, like me personally, I don't feel like I have a problem anymore making romantic songs. I told myself I wasn't going to make romantic songs with my music until I got married. And after that, I was like, I think that making romantic songs is a part of life, and I think it's beneficial because there's definitely romance in the Bible. And then as far as worship, sometimes I'll make a song that'll be, hey, this is actually a worship song. And it's not just like little notes in there about Christianity. So I think it's important. So what I really came to conclusions and Morningstar really taught me was that just really make music and make it about your experience and make it holy, make it holistic, but also it's okay to be real. And that's why I like actually John Mark McMillan a lot right now. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't even I feel like sometimes with John Mark I even like him beyond his musical aspects. I just like his message, which I can't say for a lot of people all the time that I feel that way. But John Mark specifically, I feel like he has a very consistent message, and I can really just grab a hold of that, and you can see how his music changes all the time. And it's just him being real, which I really appreciate.
And I think you wasn't... So at your graduation, so I'm trying to think like chronologically a little bit, did you do How He Loves?
Yeah, I did. I actually did.
So like he's been really affecting you for a long time.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. I went to a winter retreat and when I was, I don't know, maybe 13, and How He Loves was playing, and it really struck into my heart. And I remember how hard the band went. Like I remember they like literally just were so involved with it and so deep inside of just the idea of the song. And it really impacted me, and that was the first time I heard it. I didn't hear it at church. I heard it at a winter retreat, and that was a really impactful moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So John Mark's been big for you for a long time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it was interesting when when I got married, my wife's from the Bahamas. She came here and she was just checking out just different artists that were doing well in 2017 and 16. And Gabby, she didn't even really like John Mark. She knew How He Loves. She didn't know it was his song because everybody knows the song from Jesus Culture. But so she really liked John Mark in 2017 and was showing me all of his songs, and it was like a really like 80s pops heavy synth album, and I was just like I wasn't into that
at the days.
It was I was in 2017. I think I was focused on more blues music at the time, blues rock and stuff like Gary Clark Jr. and stuff like that. So I was just like John Mark, like, oh yeah, but again, like his message is just so great and consistent. But
I remember, well, we went to a call in 2007, and that's the first time I heard John Mark sing it. And it used to be on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but he told the story behind it, and he cried the whole time he sang it, and it's really powerful. But
I think it's still on YouTube. I think I looked it up like a little while ago. And it has like less views because somebody re-uploaded it.
Yeah, I think it somehow got deleted or something. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting like how that song has impacted you for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a powerful song.
Different artists like keep with you.
I'm definitely a Sloppy Whitkiss guy myself.
Yes. Not knocking on Crowder.
Yeah, I love Crowder.
Crowder is
huge
so
fan
creative,
of Crowder.
But
he's a good guy.
But we like the OG.
Yeah.
John Mark version.
And Jesus Culture. Jesus Culture.
Right, Jesus Culture did a great job.
That would be definitely a moment for like ministry that just kind of combined in my life, and just something like a light bulb I feel like went off in my mind. And my last album that I did in 2014, it was really combined the idea of just like I'm going to combine all of what I know and just at the time and just release the album, and it's gonna have rock, it's gonna have acoustic, just acoustic songs, it's gonna have more of a rock feel, a little bit more country, and then a little bit of a worship feel to it. And I just wanted anybody to be able to listen to it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to use it in churches and outside of churches. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to be anywhere. I just wanted to be me. And people would say it's kind of different or it's what it is, but it's just me. That's what I wanted.
Speaking of, what happened today?
Today, my most recent song just got released. It's on iTunes and Spotify. It's called Slow Jam. And it's the most not pointed song name.
It's pretty chill.
It's non-spiritual. Just song I've ever made and released. And that's what I wanted to do. And I just kind of made it about my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think... So that song really impacted you? Because I remember, and I'm older, so I remember a lot about you. And no embarrassing stories, though, on this podcast.
So far.
So far. You didn't really take that much of an interest in music until, how old were you when you started playing guitar?
I played drums since I was 11, and I really liked that, but I had an electric drum set, and then I remember at a youth group, somebody asked me to come out and play drums, and I was terrified because it was an acoustic drum set, and an acoustic drum set actually has like feel, and like it's a lot louder than just drums in your headphones, so I was terrified of that. But we've always been around music.
We've been around it.
Yeah,
our whole
always
lives.
a part of it.
Our whole family sings and plays.
Right, but I never considered myself a singer or even really tried until, I don't know, maybe like I was 13, and like Jordan Wilhelm, he was standing by me. He said he actually has a good voice, and I said I do, and he said yes, you actually have a good voice. So when I was 15, I was really into video games, and the game that got popular that year in 2007, I think. Yeah, it was 2007.
Sounds like 2007.
Was Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah.
And I played it, and I just loved just the idea.
I played it too.
I actually still have the controllers.
Only a video game that we got rid of ours.
I still have mine on PS2. I'm not getting... I considered getting rid of it, but I was like, it's just so fun.
So nostalgic.
It's so nostalgic.
It's the only video game I've ever successfully played.
Well, that's good. But after that was where it started, and I started guitar lessons at like 15, and I just took off, and I was spending like hours and hours by myself just playing guitar and just really enjoying it, and it really opened up like a natural and a spiritual side of me, because up to that point I was like skateboarding, and I thought I was just going to join the military or something like that.
Right, you really cared about the military. He knows all the dates and types of equipment that they used in different wars and stuff. So
right,
it's like your history buff.
I like history.
You get that from Mom, I think.
Yeah, I've found history so amazing, and I think you can learn a lot from it, and you can learn a lot of strengths and human weaknesses, and just if you don't learn from history, then you won't know how to guide the future.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So to like circle back, the question was something that happened, or a moment in your childhood, teenager, whatever, that kind of was like, oh, this is the first time I am doing ministry. And then how did it affect you then? How does it still affect you now? And to me, like, one of the biggest moments where I saw you like really be your own entity in that was when you graduated, was when you did How He Loves, and you kind of did it. I mean, everybody else's like performances at graduation, we were homeschooled. You went to school a couple times.
Yeah, I was a bad
kid. But so our graduation was very small, but like I remember
graduating class of like 5 or 8 people, I think, for me.
I think it might have been like 15.
It was so
Mine
small.
was like 22. Yeah.
That's a homeschooled graduation.
But like, because it's so small, we could do performances, and everybody else's performances were kind of like nice. And then I remember you got up there and you just like ripped it out. You were just like singing your guts out, and and I would say that's like one of the first times it was like, oh, this is Dan's thing.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think so.
I think that...
like, do you remember that? Like,
no, I do.
Yeah.
I remember having like a little bit of a hard time with the guitar at the time or whatever, but I even played like a few notes, and I think that it was really funny. One of my friends, he like connected with me in 2015, and I hadn't seen him for a while, Josh Lee, and he was telling me he remembered me at when we were graduating, and it was good. And then he heard one of my songs recently, and he said it was cool to see how far I'd come, because I had always been kind of really serious about wanting to do music, because it was expressive, it's created around sound, it really connects me with God and just like my natural
it's been
side.
10 years of you really
12,
okay,
yeah,
of you like really wanting to do that.
Yep. And I still just really want to do that.
Right.
Just little steps, And what I've learned along the way is just accepting it and taking little steps in the journey and enjoying it, because this is life. You're not going to get it again, and just enjoying it. But I think really the time that I really felt that I did ministry the first time was when we had first moved into our neighborhood in Cleveland. And
how old? Do you remember how old?
I don't know how old I was. I was over 7 years old.
Yeah, you were like 7-ish.
7 or like
we
8 or
moved
9.
From like a suburban area.
Medina, where you live.
Medina, and then we, when I was 9, so you would have been 7.
Mm-hmm.
We moved
in 97.
To not inner city of Cleveland, but we moved.
No, it would have been 98. Yeah, it would have been 98.
Yeah.
Because I was 7, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we moved to a more inner city location. So, and near, like right on the edge of government housing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep leaning back. Lean back. So, yeah, so that's how old you were. You were 7.
Yeah. This guy in the neighborhood, he wanted to hang out with me, and we like played toys together. And I found out he was stealing some of my toys. And he had told me his mom was like, I think his mom was sick, or like something was going on with his family. And when I caught him and confronted him about stealing toys, he gave them back to me, and I gave him a Bible. And he like was really broken up about it, because he was saying you're a good friend and stuff like that. And I prayed with him, and I think I remember him accepting Christ. That was the first time I did, I think, solo kind of ministry, but I was really young. And yeah.
Well, and I think too, like, I was really tying it into like when you did graduation too.
Yeah.
I think that seems like a pivotal point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you think, so those two instances, how do you think, like specifically those things affect you now? Or
I think they kind of like, for me, it feels like it created a standard or a bar for what I could have been, what I was and what I could be today. Sometimes I feel like I get a little bogged down in the day to day, and I just kind of remember my experiences at King's Love, at inside ministry school, inside of moments that I played out at bars, and just I remember who I am, and it just kind of keeps pushing me towards just little steps towards spirituality. And that's part of why I want to make this podcast, because it's really a beautiful thing to talk about life and spiritual things and lessons and goals and stuff. And I just wanted to see what's churning inside of them, and just go from there, because I just want to keep going at that bar, because I think it's kind of like working out or just trying to get in shape. You have to recognize that it's not going to go away. Let's say you get in shape in a month or 2 months, you went really hard, and you go right back into that lifestyle you had before with food, and it's like kind of like, no, you have to make times that you can go splurge and go eat whatever you want, and then also you have to create just the lifestyle of like, I'm going to eat this healthy food and I'm going to be consistent. And how I can say how that works spiritually for me is just like spending time with my wife, praying and reading the Bible, listening to worship music, and talking to my friends, and just creating new music. And just, if you keep that consistency, it's the idea of what could that become. And that's what I really want to explore with these podcasts.
Yeah, I think I'm really interested in hearing where people came from and what influenced them to put them in this place, because we're all we've all been influenced. We've all been shaped by our experiences.
Yeah.
We've all had different experiences. Even if you grew up, like we grew up in the church,
Mm-hmm.
but is it still recording even though that went?
Yeah, it's still going. Oh.
Yes.
Gotta move that screen every once in a while. Screensaver. I didn't know these computers had screensavers.
That means you're always busy on it.
The more you know.
The more you know. I think it would be interesting to share that part of even our lives too. So,
Mm-hmm. All right, my turn to interview you. All right.
Ask me the same question though.
All right. When was the first time you really felt God in your heart that you can remember? It doesn't have to be the first time.
Question.
Yeah, I'm just doing my
first
questions.
time I felt God in my heart.
Yeah.
I think, when we were very young, our mom invited the neighborhood kids over. And you probably don't even remember because you're so little.
Okay.
And even though she was our mom, I saw her like take on this whole role of like caring for people and showing Jesus to people and like sharing stories with people. And I knew then that like that's how I wanted to be.
Wow. That's good. Mm-hmm. Just on a very common level and just kind of like just explanatory and not from a point of anything like really just like righteous, just like on a friend level.
Yeah, on a friend level.
And like you knew that from a young age, in your home from a young age.
I think so. Because the whole thing is like, I don't remember not feeling God. I don't remember not knowing about him being like expressed openly in my life. I don't remember a time where that wasn't a part of my life. Both of our parents sing, lead worship. We did a home church at our house at that time too when we were really young. I was probably like 5, 6, 7. So we were raised in a culture where God was like very prominent, and it wasn't like we go to church, we experience tangible. God. It was tangible, and it was a daily process versus we go on Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, and Wednesday nights, and we volunteer on Saturdays. It wasn't separate.
Yeah, and the hands and feet element of that really kind of creates the standard that we still have really evident in our life, that it's just so simple, and it's not supposed to be anything other than, hey, we followed this guy, and he was once a homeless guy in Jerusalem, and he had 13 teenagers, from what we know, following him around, and it was just like he was telling them the good news, and it had nothing to do from. It can be like the church, but it doesn't have to be. Also, it can be, what is church? Church is two people coming together and hanging out and talking about God. So we're practically in church right now,
right?
And just loving each other, and that was the elements.
Yeah,
that was the ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll ask my own question to myself, and I'll answer it because I was thinking about it, and then you can keep going.
Okay.
I think that it's in a similar vein. But I think seeing Jesus shown to me that way as a child, and that anybody was welcome. We live right by a hospital, so
yeah. They're here, and that is such an amazing thing. These microphones.
What was I saying? I don't know.
Oh no.
No. So I think having that space for Jesus to just like be in our home, and we were loving people, all different sorts of people, that made me realize that's how I wanted my faith to always be. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't want it to be, like I was just saying, like separate. And I think sometimes, so I sing and I play piano, and I've written some music, not recently though. But when I was younger, I really wanted that to be like a career. I think till I was like 13.
Yeah, I was like 13.
I feel like when you decided you wanted it to be, like we like traded places.
Oh, wow.
But not like a competition thing. Just
No,
like naturally.
I think I was excited for you because you released like a little. I remember there was a little CD and it said Bethany's demo or something like that nature.
Yeah.
And my grandpa was all excited about it. And you were excited about it. And we were like, yeah, we're going to send this to American Idol and stuff like that. We're going to get her on this show. You actually tried out?
No.
You didn't try out
for
American
Idol? No. I did a couple. Like,
did you like a little talent thing?
A little talent. I think I did too. They were fun. I love to record. I mean, I love music. I think it's just like I started having a really hard time of just that being my identity. And there was, maybe we can go into this at a different time, just like how, like when you have a gift, any gift, I mean, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're an artist, I think it's really easy for that to fully define you, which in a way is like really beautiful because it's like who you are and that's how you express yourself. But I had a period of time when I was like in my early 20s where, and it's not like a super negative thing. It wasn't the right fit. But it was like the first time someone had turned me down for a worship team position. And
I think Dad took it more personal than anybody else.
Does he even know? Did you know about it? I don't know.
Which time? Yeah, there's times that...
I'm not saying like what church it was. Nope.
Okay.
It wasn't... Honestly, it was a challenge to me because I realized that I had so much identity and worth placed in my voice and what I could do. I thought like I realized I believe like all my life like that's what I brought to the table. I can sing, I can play the piano, I can lead worship. That's what I bring to the table, and like that's where it stops, kind of thing. And through that experience, I had a couple different other opportunities present themselves, and I got to teach, and I've definitely recently even picked up writing again. There's other things I bring to the table. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think...
So what do you do, if I could just interject for a second, what kind of writing do you do currently?
So right now, I'm just doing like lifestyle blog stuff.
So blogs. Where can we find these blogs? Blogs.
We can link them.
We can link them to the description.
We can link them to the description.
What's the name of one of them?
So, my son is 10 months old, and so I wrote out our birth story. And I also wrote one, I called it Unlearning My quote-unquote healthy habits. So I kind of dove into the diet world that kind of has ups and downs and how it's not sustainable, but that's like how I've lived my life up to this point. And just the desire to create a lifestyle that is sustainable, that is actual health, not, dieting, yo-yoing, etc. So I'm trying to like cover a lot of really broad topics that I care about.
Yeah.
I'm a nurse too. Been a nurse for 6 years, and so I actually wrote out, it's not up yet, but I wrote out a blog about like my nursing journey too. Because it's cool, because even in that, everybody has their own experience. So I think that was like totally whatever. We're talking.
I told you, we won't have a problem coming up with topics.
Right. That's like pretty standard of our family. Like, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We've actually talked for about half hour now.
Yeah, already?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not gonna, yeah, these things.
That's okay, because we can
keep going.
We can put it into 2 episodes, too.
Yeah, we can do that.
But yeah, I think, so, mixing of, wanting to have this, like, tangible presence of the Lord just about my life as a part of my life versus just one singular part. So integrating him into all of the places of my life. So not just, like, kind of almost like how you've done with your music. You don't want it to just be one thing. Like, you want to express, like, your whole story.
Yeah.
And
not
it
necessarily
doesn't have to
just be like hymns, basically.
Hymns or, for me, writing blogs, like, just like, how do you... And I'm not knocking on these types of blogs, but like, how do you pray for your husband? Like, I think there's a lot of the same out there. Mm-hmm. And I am challenged with what can I bring that is unique. Mm-hmm. So I think that comes like with transparency, sharing like Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot, the culture that I'm learning a lot about right now is like, that's very new to me, is being a mom. So the way that, I'm trying to show up I'm trying to be a little bit different, but I ask tons of people lots of questions. So I'm just kind of rambling. It's fine.
I think like personally, why I was talking about different moments of kind of awakening to different ideas and just light bulbs going off. I think personally, so I'm a musician and you're a nurse, and it's just like, so these are things that we do, right. But it's not all that encompasses our experiences in life. It can be just like kind of like a part of it or even a big part of it. Right. But I think a big push towards things apart, like that's in my heart that came maybe a few years back, was just like the need for community and friendship. I feel like sometimes in this age that we live in, social media, I love talking about this. Like sometimes in the age, everybody loves to talk about this.
Yes.
But I feel like sometimes in the age of social media and like all these things are so instantaneous on our phones. We become so we're like on our phone all day, and then you go home and watch Netflix and make food and hang out with our loved ones and stuff like that. But it can become kind of divided from just other people. I feel like it's so social, but it's divided at the same time. So like something that I'm doing right now at my apartment is really funny. I had a break-in recently in my car, and somehow through that I met all my neighbors. And like a majority of my neighbors. Now, I don't know all their names and such, but I talked to quite a few of them, and like we've all been kind of talking and passing about how we hope the management is changing things. And through that, I've met that there are actually other people that do music in my apartment. So I've been messaging a lot of them about wanting to hang out on like a Sunday and stuff and start doing just jamming and making music. Maybe we'll make like little videos, but I just wanted to hang out, jam, and talk. And just do that. Maybe drink coffee and just live together. Fun. Yeah, it sounds really fun, and it's just like that's such a human element. And like as a musician, I'm like, I gotta create these songs, I gotta book these shows, or I gotta get this song online, and it becomes kind of almost selfish. And you're not really, I don't know. Like I do have bands that play with me and stuff like that, but it kind of gets so directed that it can kind of get exhausting. That sometimes with other people, just like jamming and hanging out and just sharing that, and then passions and such is going to be really a vehicle, I think, towards just better friendships. And like that's a community aspect that I think I overlooked maybe until recently, and I've also like yearned for, because I want to be a solo artist. I like being able to dictate the direction of each song and how I want things to sound.
Like band life.
I've been in a few bands. I like being in bands as long as it's a similar idea. But I think as far as the solo artist thing, it's been really successful. But I love being in bands. I'm actually part of a worship band right now. But it's
Yeah.
That's something that I think that is a really necessary thing and part of what I want to share in podcasts, and just what you feel like is what's God showing you and what you feel directed in currently.
Mm-hmm. I think kind of rounding it all out and just reflecting. I think why I'm excited to do this podcast is because I love reflecting on what makes us who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said it like 5 times already, so you get it. But our parents have always been huge on being where your ministry is.
Mm-hmm.
They've always shown that to us. So I think it's I love that, like, you're like, oh, like, through this break-in, I'm meeting my neighbors and I'm wanting to kind of develop this natural community that I think a lot of natural, friendships, but, like,
mm-hmm.
artistic ideas.
Yeah.
That's where life is. And I agree with you. I think I heard this, I can't remember who said it because I listen to like 5 million podcasts myself, but they were saying, like, social media is so cool because it can show you snippets of someone's life, but it's not always good because you're not seeing the full picture. You're not actually sitting across from someone, like, spending that time with them. Like, you can read, a paragraph on how their day has been, and you can connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we all live kind of different lives, like, we're all human, so there's things that we can always connect on. You're only getting a snippet. So, like, having people into your home, spending time with people, hopefully what we're going to be doing, like interviewing people on the podcast.
Yeah. There's places I want to go with this. There's places I want to do in homes, and I have so many ideas, but I just want to connect with people that they're creating their passions, whatever it might be. I don't even care, and I just want to learn more people in my general vicinities, just starting off, and just have awesome guests on that just have such beautiful things in their heart.
Yeah, I'm excited for the stories, and
yeah.
Even people that I feel like I know. You don't always have time to sit down, and you're not always, like, asking these, like, huge, not heavy, but, deep questions, like, what do you think, where do you think that developed initially, and all that fun stuff, because I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we should have more conversations like that, but I feel, do you have any other questions?
Not really, no, especially just kicking off this good introduction.
Yeah.
Action-packed.
Cool. Come back next time.
Come on by.
Come on back. We're definitely going to have other people come on. Yeah. But I think the first couple will be
just kicking it off with the core and just keep getting the core ideas. And
sharing more about us and
yep.
And yeah, so thank you for listening to us.
Thank you, everybody who listened, and we'll be back for the next one. Bye.